My name is Matt Bovee. I oversee the irons category here at TaylorMade for product creation. So the new P790 for 2023, where to begin? When you think about P790, what that has meant to players, to fitters out there, this iron has truly kind of transcended from being an iron people know about to an iconic iron that's going to go on and live sort of in infamy for a long time. And wanting to make sure that we stay true to P790's identity. The new P790 absolutely has all the performance that you've come to know and expect from P790. It certainly has the design language on the outside as well, that super clean, timeless look to it. The feel is incredible, but when you look inside this new model, there is a new design methodology here where every iron is uniquely crafted, not just from a face perspective, but also in terms of how we distribute mass in the club head, because every iron's different. It should perform differently, and it needs to really have the internal features to support that. Feedback from the marketplace, from sales associates, from fitters, from golfers directly, of course, play an integral role in designing the new P790s. And again, when we think about each iron from an individual perspective, one of the big pieces of feedback that you get from players, you can ask any player this, like, what's the hardest iron to hit in your bag? Inevitably, they're going to tell you the longest iron. So from a design perspective, when you sit down with an R&D team and we say, okay, well, what makes a long iron hard to hit? Obviously, they're strong lofted, which means it's more difficult to launch in the air consistently, especially when you get towards a little bit, towards the player's side of the spectrum there, they want that extra performance, right? So how do we deliver a easier to launch long iron that's gonna provide more consistency, more success, more forgiveness? And the answer with that, as a lot of us know, is low CG means you're gonna get a higher launching club, right? But did you know that most clubs don't have the lowest CG in their longest iron? And that's what this new 790 has brought to the table. It's different from any other 790 we have in the past. It has the flighted CG design concept. So we now have our lowest center of gravity in our longest iron. And that's gonna do a couple things for players, but really most simply, it's gonna make it easier to play and it's gonna make it more forgiving. So let's keep talking about the inside of the iron here, because we mentioned how the long irons are going to be easier to launch, and what that allows us to do on the inside of this iron, we have a couple new technologies that are going to be key in delivering that. First and foremost, when you look inside this iron, you're going to see this honeycomb type structure, and it's called thick, thin back wall construction. What that allows us to do is pull mass from high in the club head and redistribute it into other areas where it's going to be more beneficial. In the case of a long iron, we want to focus on getting that center of gravity really low in the club head, so we provide that easy to launch profile. In addition, to get that sweet spot as low as we possibly can, because your impact locations are a little bit lower on the face naturally in a long iron. As you shift through the set, you're going to see how we distribute the mass inside the club head start to change. In that long iron, it's all about getting the mass really, really low, and you see this low center of gravity. If you shift from, say, a 4 iron to a 7 iron, you're going to see the mass start to take on more of a heel-toe perimeter weighted approach. We want to make these irons as stable and as forgiving as we possibly can throughout the set. And when you get to the short irons where loft becomes your friend and it's easy to launch the ball in the air, we want to make sure that it's as consistent as possible while controlling the flight and the trajectory. So we want that center of gravity to actually creep up a little bit more in those scoring clubs that allow players to really flight the ball and attack pins, hold greens, get the spin they need, all while boosting that level of forgiveness and having a higher MOI in your scoring clubs. Forged hollow body construction is the reason we've been able to really pack all this technology into a head that has that traditional player's sort of shape. And it's inspired from the same type of irons that the guys on tour are playing, those single piece forged players irons. We want to keep all those proportions, because when you do that, there's something that's much more visually pleasing to the eye and confidence inspiring when you set up behind the ball as well. So again, we know that this player wants some extra performance, but they also aspire to have that better club in their bag, and maybe you're working towards that, but you like the way that that looks and the way that that feels. 790 delivers that, and that's why we have that intentional look, both in the playing position and in the bag. I encourage people to go get custom fit across the board. Combo sets are going to be a natural part of that conversation. I mean, you can go multiple directions. When you look on tour, for example, you see combo sets readily available. Just this, at the Open, for example, Colin Morikawa was playing a 790 3 iron, a 770 4 iron, MC 5 and 6 into the MBs in the short iron. So again, he's leveraging more forgiveness on the top end of his set because he knows that either he wants his gapping to be a certain way or he just wants a little bit more stability. And I encourage, everyday players to get out there and do the exact same. So whether you want to go 770s into 790s with a little bit more forgiveness, maybe you're looking for the right number in your bag. You can play MCs all the way up to, you know, a 5 iron or a 4 iron and say, I'm just trying to hit one specific number here, and the 3 iron for 790 allows me to do that. I don't think any player should walk into a fitting with this preconceived notion of, oh, that one's not for me. You need to be open-minded, and you need to be, you know, go with what works best for you and what's going to allow you to score best. Combo sets are a great way to do that. Yeah, I get the question of like, okay, who's this iron for a lot, regardless of what iron we're talking about. And I never loved the pigeonhole an iron as to like, it's for this specific type of player, because again, I want people to be open-minded when they go into a store and they're looking at what products are out there. That being said, the 790 is designed for a player that's either, you know, aspiring to maybe get a little bit better, or has used to be maybe a little bit better and has lost a little bit of speed over the years, you know, and you want a little bit of help in that regard. So you're looking for a little bit of technology. Give me a little bit of all speed, give me a little forgiveness, and give it to me in a clean package. That's who this is for. I'm not going to say a specific handicap range, you know, I would say mid handicaps, low mid handicaps, upper single digits, they all find 790 and score very well with it. I know for a fact that there are +6 at country clubs playing full sets of 790s without any issues. Brooke Henderson won on the LPGA Tour earlier in 2023 with a full bag of 790s. So like really anybody of any skill level can play these. It just comes down to what fits your game. So in addition to the flighted CG that's in the new 2023 790s, you know, we also have a significantly larger sweet spot when you compare it to the old generations. A lot of players that are going to be out into the marketplace right now, maybe you got the 2017s or the 2019s, these are much more forgiving. Again, they use that similar forged hollow body construction that we all know and love for P790. So you have the speed foam air in there, that's a lot less dense, right? 69% less dense than the original. That gives us some free mass. You have the new thick thin back wall, which I talked to you about. So we gave about 8 grams of mass to redistribute inside this new 790, which allows us to deliver things like the flighted CG. Of course, the speed pocket, you have uniquely designed faces, because again, we want to make sure that club is staying online through the entire set, being as accurate as we possibly can. Machine face, machine grooves, like the list goes on and on. And we put it in an iron that looks this beautiful, and it's something you can truly be proud to have in your bag when you set it on the tee box, you know, when you walk up to your foursome. There's just a lot to love about the new 790. I really can't emphasize enough how important it is to go get custom fit. Everyone's swing is unique. And you should be getting fit for a product that is designed for your swing. You shouldn't be altering your swing to the product. Now, obviously, we can all get better with lessons as well, but if you're playing the wrong product, it's gonna make the game a lot harder, whether that be the shaft or the head. I mean, the number of combinations goes on. So you wanna go get fit. You wanna not just consider length and lie. You wanna be talking about loft. Talk to your fitter about loft. Again, that's something that we've incorporated into our fitting products. It's a huge part of which iron you should be playing. Every tour player has their own specs, loft, length, lie for irons, and we have the capability to be able to do that too. So I mean, all players, they should be going into their worldwide golf shop retail locations to get fit and make sure you're playing the best you possibly can.